why is it that we work so hard to keep our plants that we buy alive, but the weeds that are outside around our grass or in even this environment in the greenhouse, they just have the will to live like none other.
Yeah.
And it's such a problem because you just sit and you weed and you weed and you weed. So
So that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit, is this easy homemade DIY weed killer that you can make up yourself.
because we want something that's going to kill them and try to start making them not come back as much. And in the greenhouse, that's a big problem for us because they have the perfect environment.
Yeah.
They have the heat. They have the sunshine. They have the fertilizer. And so the weeds love to just grow.
Even with being 130 plus degrees in the greenhouse, this is just like, yeah, no problem. But we have to be very careful with what we spray in our greenhouses,
Right.
because it's usually a closed cycle, especially early on, and it basically rains in here during the late winter and spring, and we got to be very careful. So, but this is something that you can make at home. We're gonna
Pretty simple.
We used to do 3 ingredients, and that recipe works great.
Let's see what the original recipe was.
So a gallon of the white vinegar,
Regular white vinegar.
Yep. And that's the 5%, 4 or 5%, whatever it is. A quarter cup of the dish soap, maybe just your regular Dawn dish soap, and then Epsom salt.
Right. And what did that do?
Well, the Epsom salt kind of really went in and killed, made it stick and went into that plant.
The vinegar is an acid.
Yeah, and we're gonna eliminate one of the 3. So we're gonna go ahead and because it works, but it is problematic with your sprayer. We found that the Epsom salt can clog up your sprayer, so that's just an extra step that you need to clean this out after you're done, because it can really clog up your sprayer.
So reduced recipe
Yeah.
is.
We're just gonna go with 2.
Yep.
But we changed up. Now you can use the regular white vinegar that you buy at the grocery store. Again, that's at 5%. We use the 30%. That's, as it says on here, 6 times more powerful. It is really powerful, so you need to be careful if you use the 30% cleaning vinegar.
Right.
We found that out.
We did.
Yeah, I mean,
In our enclosed area.
yeah, that the vapors, just the vapors from this, can wipe out flowers. So you need to be careful, but boy, it's a heavy hitter. So we're gonna use an entire gallon of the 30% white vinegar.
And you're putting it into a sprayer.
Yep. So that fits in here. So I pour this entire gallon into here. And then I don't even measure it out, but it's, if you want to measure it out, a quarter cup, I just take and squirt some in there of the dish soap. The dish soap basically just makes it stick to the leaves. And really, essentially, what it does is it dries down and it suffocates those leaves. And I'm gonna, we're saying weed killer. It's a vegetation killer. It's gonna kill it. So it doesn't care if it's flowers. We found that out. It doesn't. So you need to be careful. It does not care if it's petunias or geraniums or whatever. It's gonna kill them. Or your grass. It's gonna kill it. So you have to be careful with any overspray or even the vapors nearby, because the 30% is a heavy hitter. That's great in the greenhouse when we're empty, but it does work. Now, it's not a glyphosate which goes in and kills the roots. So what we found is that we need to do this a few times before it really chokes out those weeds and kills them off.
But it's a much more natural way of doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about the glyphosate that we're finding out that are not good. So this is much more of that natural route without those harsh chemicals that are, they're causing cancers and this and that. So I like this route better.
Also, when you're doing it, don't do it right after a rainstorm because they're already hydrated. Do it on a really hot, like you can see I'm squinting because that sun is so bright. Do it on a really hot day where the plants want to start drinking whatever's on them.
Those pores are open on the leaves.
Right.
So that's...
you're going to get the most effectiveness from that.
So it needs to be like a sunny, hot day.
So do you want to show them what we're doing?
Yeah. So,
Okay, I'm gonna jump around the back side.
so I'm
So
gonna
you
go
have-
through and
You have it all mixed up in there.
yeah, and I've been using this. As you can see, it says vinegar on it. This is my my batch. So I'm just gonna go through on these weeds, and you can see back here, those are stone dead because they dried. It basically just chokes it off. So I'm just going through and spraying those weeds. So again, you might have to do this a few times because it's not chemically the glyphosate or you know them as the brand names, but this does really do a good job of choking those weeds. And yeah, I'm saying weeds. Weeds are just plants that you don't want, okay? So I know a lot of people are like, dandelions aren't weeds. Okay, I get it. There's a medicinal, but if there's a dandelion somewhere where I don't want it, it's a weed to me. So I'm gonna spray it and kill it off. So
Also, if you're in more of an enclosed space like this, if you are a greenhouse that's going to do this, make sure all of your fans, and you can hear our fans are kicked on.
yeah, it's
The
gonna pull
fumes
that.
get like,
Yeah, from
it gets quite a bit.
so that 30%
that
vinegar
30% is strong.
It is strong. It is a industrial cleaning vinegar. So it's not that 5% that you buy at the store. So, but we do like the 30% because
It's a hard hitter.
yeah, it's a hard hitter, exactly. So, but
Something else we do in the greenhouses to control the weeds is we try to get them before they start blooming and setting seed.
Yeah.
And some of these have gotten a little bit further away because those seeds aren't going to be killed by this. So
Yeah.
what we do is we'll rake all of the weeds up that we've killed, like back in here, all that kind of dead stuff.
you get that
We'll
out.
get that out. But then we'll also take a torch
Yeah, before we
to
yeah,
go
so like
to try to pop those seeds open.
late fall, I go through with a propane torch and burn every square foot of the greenhouses, and that helps to pop those seeds, dry, they really kill off anything. But for now, I mean, it's hot in here. I don't want to be standing on the end of a torch right now. So this vinegar, again, the 2 ingredients, it's a very easy recipe. It does work. It takes multiple times. It's not a glyphosate that goes in and kills the roots. So you do need to do it maybe a couple times, but again, it's also not harsh, and it doesn't cause the ill effects that we are finding out with these studies with the glyphosate.
So some of the reasons why you would want to do this is, especially for us in the greenhouse or maybe in your garden, the more weeds you have, the more chances that you're going to have those bad bugs. And the less the less type of plants that they want to munch on, the better. So aphids would be one. They kind of hide out in the weed portion of stuff. So
Yeah, there's certain
it's not
reasons
just
about
for making it look pretty. There's actual reasons why we keep keep the stones clear. A lot of greenhouses will have that black tarps laid down.
Yeah.
Some will have just pure cement, and you're trying to keep down algae, you're trying to keep down the bugs, you're trying to not have, aesthetically just not have weeds. But you're in such a prime
They have everything.
conditions.
They have everything they need.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is again, this is our easy, 2 ingredients, vinegar and a little bit of just soap, and that is, we found, really works well for us in the greenhouses. I do spray it around, in the landscaping, but again, you have to be careful with overspray. This doesn't care if you have pretty flowers.
Right.
It will kill that. A lot of people are like, well, does it kill this? Does it? And the answer is yes. It will. It's a vegetation killer.
The first one will knock it down, and the second kind of coating on it will just really annihilate it.
Yeah, and it just dries down those leaves. It doesn't kill the roots, so sometimes you gotta come back, but it does really dry and choke it off.
But if you want to have your plants flourish and bloom, and maybe even the weeds, then you need to fertilize them.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer, which we're known for, you can find that on thebeatyourneighbor.com. You can either order it right online, or better yet, go to the retailer locator and find who sells it near you, and then go and get a jar for yourself.
All right. So thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.